Alright, back to another episode with this crazy guy. Um, where we left off after the introduction was I wanted to talk about time. So this vlog will be about time. Now, in my life, I've come to the realization that the two most important things in our lives are time and love. So we're going to talk about time and why it's so important and why we take it for granted and all these kinds of ideas. Now we can talk about time being linear, we can talk about time being circular, we can talk about time dilation, we can talk about relativity. I don't want to go too crazy into those kinds of concepts with this, but more focus on the value of time because I think something that we take for granted as a species. We, as organisms, only survive for such a long time. We have a finite time alive here on this earth, on this planet, and with what we have. And I know some people are just like, oh, life and that's the longest thing you have, or life is short, do whatever, but it's the only thing we know, and time is so important because we squander it and we don't use it to its full potential, and it's unfortunate because I think a lot of us don't understand that value, and when you give somebody time, give somebody your time, that's time that you can't get back, and that's really important for how we live our lives, because where you spend your time, where you spend your energy, where you spend your emphasis of your life is really important, because that becomes what defines you, becomes how you look at things, it changes your perspectives, you open your mind up doing different things, but it all comes down to that time. What are you spending your time on? Are you learning? Are you wasting your time? Are you not paying attention to it? Again, you could be dead tomorrow, and that's the thing that I think a lot of us don't understand. And if we understood that carpe diem concept of seizing the day and using every day to its fullest, and realizing that we could be gone tomorrow, I think there would be a more effective use of time in everybody's life, your life, my life, and in people who have had close encounters with death or have had traumatic circumstances or situations happen. A lot of people appreciate time a little bit better. So again, what I'm trying to get at is how important time is and how you spend your time. So for instance, today I'm working on a whole bunch of things for my life in school, and sleep is important. I wish I never had to sleep because that's a pretty big chunk of time that you could be using for other things, and unfortunately as living beings we do need to sleep, so we waste a lot of time that way, I think. So you should think about too, like where do you waste time in your days? And I'm not talking about like, okay, I just want to relax and watch TV for an hour, or game for an hour or two. I mean, there's certain points where you have to do that, but you have to strike that balance with shutting your brain down, or having fun playing a game, and what are you really getting out of that experience? What are you doing to drive towards your goals? What are you doing to help other people or improve yourself? Because again, spending that time, you can't get that time back, and you don't know when you're going to go. I mean, you could be dead tomorrow. You could die today. There's just so many of these things that can happen that we can't see into the future. I mean, some of what we do is try to predict the future, and I think that's something that our species tries to do, is trying to understand our universe around us so that we have a little bit more predictive power for what's going to happen in the future. But again, we don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, you're not clairvoyant, I'm not clairvoyant. Maybe some people have some kind of premonition or prescience. But the fact of the matter is that we don't know what's going to happen. So you have to maximize your time. And to do that, you have to really understand who you are and what your purpose is. I'll probably do a whole other vlog on purpose and destiny and those kinds of ideas. But again, what are you spending your time on? Time is so important. When you give somebody time, that's huge. When you spend your time developing yourself, that's huge. When you spend your time learning, that's huge. Obviously, you can spend your career. Okay, you can spend your career helping people. You can spend your career trying to improve things. And that's what I'm trying to get at too. Is with time that you give, what are you getting out of it? And I'm not talking about it as a selfish idea. I'm talking about it as a trying to make the world a better place, trying to improve your life so that you can help others, and trying to use your time effectively and wisely so that you don't waste time. We spend time sleeping, we spend time commuting, we spend time cooking. Some people love cooking. Cooking drives me insane, but what are you spending your time learning to do? Learning, and it could be learning cooking, but that's not the point. It's carpe diem. Seize the day, make use of your time. Don't squander your time, because you don't know when you're going to go.